good to see you again.
And you.
I didn't want to talk about this in the other interviews that we've had on Bravo and Canada M because it seemed a bit insular, but indulge me for a second. It strikes me that this is your most personal in terms of your experiences, your own, what we know of you and what's public. I mean, so much of it's in here.
Yes and no, yes and no. In this case, it's the third time I've written about a main character who is a writer. I did that in The World According to Garp. I did that in A Widow for 1 year. But in this case, you're right in one sense that I have, as faithfully as possible, given the character of Danny my process as a writer almost exactly. Mm-hmm. And in addition to making him a writer, I also tried to construct a life for him, a childhood and adolescence for him, that almost force him to love the life of the imagination more than he will ever feel comfortable with his own life. I give him a need to imagine things as a way of detaching himself from the discomforts of his own life. Now there, I would like to divide this story and say it isn't especially personal to me, it isn't especially difficult for me to give to a character in a novel who is a writer the way I do it. Because Danny's life, what happens to him in his life, is thankfully not mine. Yeah. The old things that I have always been frightened of, and I think this is in a deeper, we talked about this before once, in a deeper, more psychological way, those things you write about that never happen to you, but which you fear recurrently, obsessively, nightmarishly, those things you write about that you hope never happen to you or to anyone you love, these repeat themselves. And the death of a child, the death of other loved ones. Everything Danny Bacigalupo fears as a young boy and as a grown man comes true. The loss of his father, the loss of the only woman he ever loves, the loss of his only son, right? Now, it's easy to look at this book and say, well, you have Daniel Bacigalupo go to the Iowa workshop and study with Kurt Vonnegut at exactly the same time you went to the Iowa workshop and studied with Kurt Vonnegut. And I used the word anal before. You think this is anal? Everything Vonnegut says in this novel as a fictional character to Daniel Bacigalupo is something word for word that he actually said to me. Now, you see, it's easy to point to those factual details and say those are autobiographical, but to me, those are trivial. Those are superficial. I'm being self-referential in a playful or in a mischievous way. What's not so fun is the fact that I am compelled to write about the things that scare me to death, the things that I hope don't happen. And so a part of me would say, yes, everything you point to of these sort of factual landmarks, sure, they're autobiographical, but they're autobiographical in a truly small peanuts way. What I think is more telling or more revealing about me are the things I write about that never happened to me, but boy, do I write about them a lot. Yeah. And I can't avoid writing about them. They keep coming back. They're not a part of the skeleton of the story, the action of the story that I'm talking to you about. Those things just come at me and sit over me like a big cloud.
John, it has been a delight to talk to you and to listen to you, more importantly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Seamus.